Hey everybody, how's it going? Oh, I'm doing pretty good, thanks for asking. Anyway, I know this is a different video than what I normally been putting out. Before I start, I definitely want to give a shout out to all the subscribers. You know, it's been almost a month and I got like 27 subscribers. Actually 25 because two of them are me. They're my other channels. I got a behind the scenes channel and then I got an animation channel. So I want to tell you about this one time I almost got crushed by a car when I was 16 at work. I know, it sounds horrible. If that would have happened, y'all wouldn't have been able to see this pretty face. Okay, it ain't that pretty, it's just scruffy. So when I was 16, oh my gosh, that was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when I was 16, I was working for a dealership. I'm not going to say the name of the dealership, don't ask. And I was a technician. So I'm now, you probably wondering how I got that job. I was in shop in high school, so that's part of the reason why I was there. I will do another story on how I actually got that job, which is kind of, it's messed up, but it's awesome at the same time. Yeah. So I'm at work, and we had these. We had these bays. There was two different types of bays that my group was working on. So when I mean bay, it's like a section that has a lift, and there was two different types of lifts, I should say. Bays, lift, whatever. It's been a long time since I've been in a dealership shop working. I do something totally different now because somebody told me something, and I followed their advice. So the different types of lifts that we had, there was one where you just drive the car over in this little box type deal, and it had these arms that swing like that. If you work in a dealership, you know what I'm talking about. For those who don't, yeah, just stick with me. So like I was saying, they had these arms. It's like two arms on each side. You had one facing the front, and then you had the other ones like facing the back, and you put the arms under the car, push the button, car raises up. And then there was another type of lift where you just drive the car over, and they had like these like pad deals. It kind of goes almost the full length of the car. I mean, it's not the full length, but maybe about 3/4 of the car, depending on what kind of car you have. But mostly it was for cars. So you drive the car over it, you raise it up, you drive it down, you drive back over it, and it's like little humps, and you're good. So we also had these porters. They brought the car in. They would bring the cars in from the front, and they would put them in the bay that was open. Put them in the bay, work on the car. So there was a car in our section that nobody was working on. So I was like, I'm going to get that one. I go over there, I raise it up, and I think it probably was just an oil change on it, I think. Most of the time we just did oil changes on those. And, you know, because it's quick. Put it on there, get it up, do what you need to do, drop down, back up, you gone. So I was working on a car. Oil was draining and whatnot. Had the little pan. We had a little pan that the oil was draining in. And next thing you know, I hear all like this yelling like, hey, hey, oh, like all that and whatnot. I ain't really paying no mind because working in a dealership, it's kind of loud anyway. You got people, you know, yelling, talking to each other. And then you also have impact guns and just all the different tools going on. And so you don't really pay no mind, you know. And so I finally, you know, I'm looking around like, what? It kept going. It just kept going. So I'm looking. And next thing you know, I turn around and I see two of my friends that were also working there. Everybody was pretty much friends. Like when I was working there, we had a lot of young people that was working there, and the majority of us went to the same school, and we was like just really cool. But anyway, I seen two of them hanging off, like hanging on the back of the car, and I'm just like, what in the world are they doing? Like, what the hell are they doing? And next thing you know, they like, hey, you need to let the lift down. And so I'm like, okay, put the oil plug back in, get from under the car, and I dropped the car, and they just like, dude, you almost got crushed. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like the car literally was like lifting or tilting tilting over me, and I was just like, I ain't even know, cause you know you under the car. I wasn't really paying attention. Like I was just like, oh, oil draining. Yeah, it's black under there, or whatever. Well, it wasn't completely black, but I just wasn't paying attention. So what happened was they saved my life. Oh, thank God, thank you. Nah, I really thank them to this day. I'm friends on Facebook with one of them. You know who you are. It's funny because my wife knows him too. I was like, how you know him? She's like, we work together. I was like, that's funny because I worked with him too. Huh. Anyway. So what happened was, since I didn't really check the car before I raised it, the heaviest portion of the car was not really set on the lift. It was kind of ahead of the lift. Like, let's say, like, let me see. So this is the lift, and this is the front of the car. This is the trunk, because they had a hole. So automatically, the front of the car is the heaviest, like right up here. So you drive over. Somebody drove over, and most of the car was like this. Now the car should have been like this, closer to most of the stuff, so because you can't really tip it over. But the car was like this, so the heavy part was just tipping over like that, and I was under there. Thinking about that now, I was just like, oh my gosh, I really could have lost my life that day. I don't know, it probably wouldn't have been that bad though. I mean, it probably would have just fell, and I probably would have just ducked, and most of the car would have been on the lift. They would have, man, whoever that customer would have been, they would have been pissed off. Oh my God. I don't even want to think about what would have happened. Oh my God. Oh man, that's horrible. But yeah, the car probably would have just been like this, and I would have just probably been like under it, and it would have probably like slid like that or something. And it's funny because like the boss or the manager at the time, my boss, well, it was the manager of the maintenance part. The lift was right in front of his office, so it was like lift, and then a place where you walk, and then a wall with a big piece of glass, and it was his office, so he can always look out there and see what you're doing or whatnot. So it probably would have went and crashed into his office. That would have been hilarious. Nah, he was cool though. He was cool. He wasn't a jerk. I mean, he did fire me. It wasn't my fault. It was not my fault. I had to tell y'all, I had to do another video on why I got fired. It was a good reason though. It was a good reason. It just wasn't meant for me to be there anymore. It wasn't meant. So yeah, that's the story on that. You know, if y'all want to hear the story on how I actually got this job and how I got fired or why I got fired, hit that like button, man, or comment and let me know. Say, hey, I need to hear this. I need to hear this. Not want. I need to hear this story. Nah, I'm just playing. I'll probably put it out anyway. Alright, but, yeah. Later.